okay. Coming up the path, it's a lovely sunny day here at the very, very end of May. And we'll have a look. Here's a lovely rose. Another thing I first saw at Dartington Hall Gardens, along with the Euonymus, which we talked about last time. This is the double yellow form of the Scotch briar. And above it, prettily against the blue sky, is a climber from Chile called Vallia stipularis. And in that direction, in the within the native thorn, we have a species lilac, which rejoices in the name of Syringa schweigensoi. So there you are. And the Vallia is half climbing on this tree from China called Sassafras Tsumu, with its oddly shaped cut leaves. Some have only sort of one cut in them, some are more or less whole, and some are in 3 prongs. Now here we've got another sassafras, which is the one that most people will know. And you can see from the leaves how similar they are to that Chinese one I've just shown you. This is Sassafras albitum from the North America. Next to the sassafras, you can't help noticing this large shrub here, absolutely covered in flowers. Covered in flowers. And this is the beauty bush, which is quite a nice name, Colquitzia amabilis. Here are the flowers. They are faintly, sweetly scented. And if I'm standing by the shrub now, I can smell them. Got these lovely markings inside if you look closely at them. But it does form an enormous shrub if you allow it to. In May we have the chestnuts flowering, and the one or two I shall show you. This was planted by me in 1979 or thereabouts, and it's become quite a large tree, but very decorative with its pinky red flowers, and they are absolutely adored by bumblebees. This is Aesculus carnea briotii is the name of the hybrid. A mixture of red, orange and pink. Now here's another small horse chestnut from North America, with panicles of flowers which are rather sparsely spaced out. They make quite a decent impact when they're all together on the tree, but individually they're not a lot to write home about. Let's have a look at some flowers close up. You can see they've got red and a little bit of orangey yellow in them. Quite sparsely spaced. But as I say, when they're all together, they make an impact. This is Aesculus pavia, or pavia, in the form splendens, which means it's got more red in it than the type. Coming up towards the temple, we've got the another small-ish chestnut, horse chestnut. This one is a hybrid between two North American chestnuts, and it's a kind of apricot colour. If you look too closely at the flowers, they look a little bit muddled. Bits of red, bits of green, bits of yellow. But as a whole, the tree looks like it's covered in apricot flowers. Attractive. It's been here 45 years. This is Aesculus mutabilis induta, discovered in a German nursery at the beginning of the last century. I've noticed that the photinias, including the rather ubiquitous photinia red robin, have been flowering really well this year, amazingly so. This unusually is a deciduous photinia called Photinia boverdiana. Produces little orange berries later. But one of the things about it I love is the leaves. Let me show you a young seedling coming up in the garden and you will see what I mean. And here are the new leaves on the rather small seedling which came up in the garden. It's a lovely, lovely tree. Believe it or not, this is the first tree I planted here in 1977, a tulip tree. And then the funny thing about a tulip tree is you tell people it's flowering and they say, where? And then once they see one flower, your eye gets accustomed and you can pick out all these flowers which are at the moment covering the tree. I suppose they're not all that conspicuous. Let's have a look. There's one at eye level. They are greeny yellow, and you can tell they're in the magnolia family. This one is from North America, and they have the characteristic leaves if they've been folded over and chopped and then unfolded. Absolutely characteristic, but it is flowering very well. Coming in the undergrowth, I want to show you the amazing flowers absolutely covering this evergreen euonymus. Normally it would be grown for its amazing orange fruits, which are very decorative, but I've noticed that here in the wood, fantastic flowers. I've never seen it like this before, so I'm hopeful that we are going to have some wonderful berries. walking down the path, one might be inclined to miss this shrub, which is actually flowering. And then you suddenly notice the flowers. I consider the flowers a typical shape for an Elysium. This is Illicium henryi from China. And then once you've got your eye in, you start seeing the flowers in the shrub. And some Elysiums are made into incense. This Elysium, if you crush the leaves, gives off a kind of eucalyptus scent, which is actually quite pleasant. But the flowers themselves aren't scented. At the end of the tennis court border, I've spied an indigofera from China. This one is called Indigofera himalayense, from the Himalayas. Silk Road. It's a good pink, and the flowers are upright and conspicuous. It forms a small shrub which can be pruned quite hard if necessary. Well, there's Bertie on alerty. Aren't you, Bert? What are you looking for? Guarding the property, as usual. Well done. Following up its beautiful, smooth trunk is this Myrtle from Chile. It used to be called Myrtus meli, and now it's called Amomyrtus meli, or affectionately known as Myrtus smelly. And my goodness me, it is smelly. Let's come round here a minute. Fantastic amount of flower, and it's so sweet and sort of exotic smelling. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's absolutely full of honeybees buzzing away. This was collected in Chile. Now here's quite a pretty picture. Pink rose, a wisteria, a double geranium, and a rather unusual Laceasteria. The rose is a double form of the Californian rose, Rosa californica plena. Lovely scent from the wisteria. And there's that lovely geranium. Summer skies. And to complete the picture is the weepy flowers of Laceasteria crocothersos. What a mouthful. What a throatful. But they're rather attractive, and they arch outwards